Thank you very much, and thank you for our hosts, the Kurdish Institute of Brussels, and the fraction of the European Parliament who invited us here. Today I represent UNPO, Unrepresented Nations and People Organization, which is an international movement and organization established to empower the voice of unrepresented and marginalized people worldwide and to protect their right to self-determination. The people represented within UNPO membership are all united by one shared condition. They are denied equal representation in the institution of national or international governance. As a consequence, their opportunity to participate in the international and national stage is limited, and they struggle to fully realize the right to civil and political participation and to control their economic, social, and cultural development. In many cases, they are subject to the worst form of violence and repression. At UNPO, we have representatives from Kurd, Ahwazi Arab, Baluch, and Azerbaijani Turks, and today I will not focus on one marginalized group. I will focus on the experience of these minoritized ethnicities of life in Iran, their challenges, not for the past 43 years, but for the past 100 years, or since the creation of the modern nation state of Iran in 1920s. I will refrain from using minorities, first of all, because I receive a lot of hate and criticism about it. People keep telling me that we are in millions, so calling us minorities is not accurate. So I understand this criticism, and I mean, in Iran, we talk about millions of people who are non-Persians. So again, it is maybe not accurate, so I will use the term minoritized instead of minorities. I myself belong to one of these minority groups, the Ahwazi Arab, and in my conversation with other activists from other peripheral regions of Iran, where most of non-Persian live, I realize how, despite our differences in language, culture, and history, we have similar experiences. We are all deprived from the right to education in our own mother tongue. Our regions are among the regions with the highest rate of emigration due to lack of opportunities, looting of the rich resources of the region, especially in the case of Al-Ahwaz and Baluchistan, and finally, no power in decision-making process for the big and small issues that concerns our own communities. I can sit here and open each file, but the time does not allow us. Since we're talking about the historical background of the current movement in Iran, as I said in the beginning, the resistance of non-Persian people did not start with the revolution of '79. It started with the creation of the modern nation state of Iran, spearheaded by first Pahlavi Reza Khan, who when took the power started to assassinate all the local leaders and governors in minoritized regions one by one, such as Qazi Muhammad in Kurdistan and Sheikh Khaz al-Ka'bi in Al-Ahwaz. Iran historically was ruled in a form of classic federalism, where each region had its local ruler with limited relation with the central government. Of course, until it became a nation state where Persian language, culture, history became dominant in Iran on the expense of obliteration of all the other languages and cultures. The creation of modern school, a bureaucratic system, and of course, ban of non-Persian languages, books, theater, and Persianization were instrumental in creation of this dominance, a dominance we are witnessing until this very day. And the demand of non-Persians for equal rights are dismissed by the Persians and in central government, and any action by these minoritized people is deemed as an attempt to separate from Iran. Even if these demands are calling for equal education opportunities through education in mother tongue for non-Persian population of Iran. That was some context about how the things are from the other side, a narrative we never hear about Iran. Unfortunately, Iran is interchangeably used with Persia, and there is this misconception that everyone who lives or comes from Iran is Persian. And that cannot be further from the truth, as Iran is Middle East's most diverse country in terms of ethnic demography. Just imagine how ridiculous it is to believe that a country like Iran, at the heart of ancient Silk Road, can be a nation state with a single language, single culture, single religion. Iran is a mosaic, clear and simple, and we are here to showcase this diversity. When the revolution occurred, non-Persians again became the first target of the central government, under Khomeini. The first minoritized people were the Turkmen, where their leaders were massacred in March 1979. Following that, we have the events of Muhammara, Black Wednesday in May 1979, and finally the notorious fatwa of Khomeini against Kurds and the subsequent bombardment of Kurdistan in August 1979. So from March to August, these three minoritized people were under attack in the first year of the revolution in Iran. So you see, both the Pahlavi and Khomeinis carry out crime against these people. And when talking about the historical background of this current movement, you cannot erase the past. And this is something that is being ignored. This is something that is absent from the narrative that Europe hears about Iran. At EU level, and I have heard this,
could you, if you can speak a little bit slowly? It seems the interpreter or translator has a problem, and if you could just speak a little bit slowly. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much.
At EU level, and I have heard this from some European politicians who regard the protests in Iran as something routine. I remember even a US-based lobbyist of Iran government stated that protests are a way for people to communicate with the government, or something similar to that effect. I want you to leave here thinking about all the lives that have been lost during the bombardment, political assassinations, enforced disappearances. My own father being one of the victims of enforced disappearances. He was enforcedly disappeared in 2019. That is 14 years ago, and I have no news about him for 14 years. So think about all these people who have lost their life for the past 100 years. I want to think about all the dear lives who have had hopes and ambitions for a better country, for a better future. Now think about Jina Amini, the young Kurdish woman who was killed for improper hijab. And think about the reaction of Kurdistan. Can you honestly say that what occurred in Kurdistan and that spread all over Iran was a single event? No, it was the last straw that broke the camel's back. The movement of Jina is an extension of the resistance of Kurdistan and other peripheral regions of Iran. Until now, every Friday, people come out in the street of Baluchistan calling out their demands. Imagine in a country where the highest number of executions, according to Amnesty, belong to ethnic minorities. First Kurds, then Baluch, and then Arabs. So no, what is going on in Iran has a history. There is a narrative that keeps being pushed in the margin by force, so the dominant narrative can continue. Losing loved ones for expressing an opinion, people being shot in the streets, targeting their eyes and genitalia, this is no routine. We are gathered here to change the narrative about Iran, and thank you for listening.